Here we are back at a fixed crit. I haven't done a fixed crit in almost 2 years, and so my expectations weren't very high. I just wanted to have fun and enjoyed riding the fixie. So this was a crit, part of the Salt Lake Crit weekend that happened a few weeks ago, and I had a really bad clip in, couldn't get just a foot on the pedal, but that basically meant that I went to the back of the group. As you can see, in this group is a very relaxed, chill, fun group of people, which is awesome, and obviously that meant that no one, or I shouldn't take myself too seriously, which I don't think I did. But anyways, I took this first lap to just try to catch up to the front. So obviously I had a much bigger gear than most of these guys here. As I looked at the course and just planned the gear that I should have, I had a 5114 on my bike, which, as you can see by these guys' cadence, they've got much smaller ratios, as I'm doing 115 cadence, and they look like they're doing more as I'm passing them. So here you see there's 2 guys off the front, a 3rd guy, and then me. So I'm about to go into corner 3 the first lap in 4th place. I'm taking the corners very wide so that I can pedal really fast through them, meaning that I don't have to lean as much. So that was kind of my plan going into this course, so that I could keep the big gear rolling. So as you see here, and we get into the final stretch, the back stretch, finish stretch, whatever you want to call it, of the course, I'm catching up to the 2 leaders, which in the first lap of the race, kind of everything was established, so you could see who actually had legs and who was there just for the fun, which is fine. This was a 20-minute crit, so I wasn't gonna get too crazy. That guy there noticed me joining them, and again, you see here, first corner, I take the turn very wide, opposite to what they were doing, which allowed me to hold speed and just be smoother. So I didn't know this was gonna happen, but here on lap 3, that guy had been at the front for 2 laps, and then it seems like he was leading out his friend, who on lap 3 puts in this attack. As you see, he is severely under-geared, so it didn't take me a lot to hop on his wheel, but he couldn't go much faster based on the gearing he had. Then at the end of that same lap, he wants me to come through. I don't really want to, so he starts doing this weaving situation, which obviously in a normal crit this wouldn't be okay. It could be considered dangerous, especially if someone was going to attack, but you know, most of them were wearing t-shirts. I was just gonna ride straight and wait for that to be over. So then on lap 4, I decide to give him a little bit of space before putting my attack in. So I do so by just going over 900 watts. You see I'm doing over 120 cadence, going 55 k's an hour, and I can tell you, he was going really deep not to get dropped. I can only imagine his cadence being upwards of 150, trying to keep up with this attack. So he didn't, and that meant that I was stuck on the front for like 3 or 4 laps. We're halfway through the race here, and we're catching people. So there was also a mountain bike crit going on at the same time. It was kind of just all the fun stuff at once, I guess. So we're passing a bunch of people here, just making sure that, yelling out to people where I'm at and making sure that we're all safe and having fun, which I think happened, and it was a great event. I definitely am glad that this category was added onto the crit weekend, making it just a little bit more fun, like I said. So at this point, there's just 2 of us. We're at lap 7, and I don't know how, but somehow I convinced him to come through. That was a mistake from him, in my opinion, because at this point, he comes through, I'm not going through anymore. As you can see, by the time I was like 7 minutes on his wheel of a 20-minute crit, and I wasn't gonna come through. So here on the last lap, again, I'm taking the corners more efficiently than he is, and I'm able to just hang onto his wheel, doing little to no power. We're about to hit the last corner here, corner 4 of the course, 20 minutes into the race, again, last lap, and I'm just preparing my sprint, knowing that my gear is bigger than what he's running, I am able to put in a solid gap that would be very hard for him to close and even harder to come by. So again, I let a little gap open so that I carry some speed. I put in just over 1100 watts. You see, I think the cadence is one of the most important things here to notice, over 130, and as you can see in this shot, it was very hard for him to catch up, and I was able to get that win. Finally, first win of the year, very stoked and can't wait for the next race.